We're in Monaco, home to the world's most expensive and glamorous F1 Grand Prix.
But we have a problem. We don't have a ticket.
We're here to see if it's possible to have the ultimate F1 race weekend without actually buying a ticket.
And I think you'll be very surprised at the access we managed to get.
We are walking down the pit lane. We'll be exploring everything free on offer inside the world's richest country.
Monaco is our oyster. Sneaking our way into places we definitely shouldn't be.
And trying our luck with some outrageously ambitious ideas.
Can the Monaco race weekend be enjoyed without a ticket? Or is this going to be an expensive mistake? This place is packed.
This journey may have taken us to the world's richest country, but it all started back in the UK.
We're at Manchester Airport and we're about to catch our flight to Nice for the Monaco Grand Prix. And it feels a little bit daunting because unlike last time where we did have a ticket, this time we're going with nothing. Less is more.
I wonder if Lando's ever flown EasyJet.
It's McLaren colours.
Yeah, EasyJet would be a good McLaren sponsor actually. One tip that we learned from last year is that not only are the flights cheaper if you go earlier, but there's actually more access to be had a few days before the Monaco race weekend. So our top tip would be get to Monaco early if you can.
We're just closing the doors now. We're scheduled to depart in about 20 minutes, but we're just asking our traffic if we can depart early, which I think is what we'll be able to do.
Monaco grandstand tickets can run into the hundreds, even thousands of euros. But having attended the race last year with the cheapest ticket available, we were pretty confident we could go to this year's race without any ticket at all and still enjoy the ultimate F1 race weekend. Monaco transforms itself entirely for the F1 and the whole city becomes an open air party. So as well as showing you exactly what we spend throughout the weekend, we'll also be trying to unlock a series of must-do F1 activities along the way, some of which are a little more ambitious than others. But at this point, we were coming into land, into the south of France. We have arrived in Nice, and before we get going with our free Monaco Grand Prix weekend, we need to show you where we're staying because the accommodation around the Monaco Formula One can be an absolute nightmare. Let me explain.
The cheapest accommodation for the race weekend in Monaco is £4,000 and it's nowhere near the centre. It doesn't look very nice. I mean, there's one here for £31,000.
And these prices are massively inflated. There's this one place which is £6,000 for the race weekend, but just a few weeks later, the price drops down to £800. So that's 7.5 times more expensive if you want to stay on race weekend. So because of that, we have chosen to stay somewhere a little bit different. We're going to be staying in a hostel. And before you judge it, let us show you around. Not only have we chosen to stay in Nice, the closest city to Monaco, but we think we found a bargain.
Not everybody knows this, but just because you are staying in a hostel doesn't mean that you have to be sharing a room or be in a bunk bed. Some hostels have got private double rooms, which is what we're going to be staying in for race weekend. We've also got a balcony, a French balcony, which looks out onto the street below.
Sorry, what now?
A balcony is a stretch. I'm not sure anybody but Jade would consider this a balcony. That is most certainly a window.
You actually have a point. I think you tricked me because of the railing.
There are a couple of things in here that you wouldn't expect from a hostel room. A TV, for example, and also a mini fridge. Inside the mini fridge is where we keep our Charles Leclerc ice cream. So supposedly this stuff is only available in the south of France. So one of the first things we did when we got here is we went to the supermarket and we tried to find it. Charles is quite a good racing driver, but how good is he at making ice cream? That is really good. But now let's talk about how much this room actually costs for the night.
The main reason that we are staying here is because of the price, and it's £130 a night.
But the main benefit of staying in this place over anywhere else is the location. We are about 5-minute walk away from the train station, which is just down there. And that's how we're going to get into Monaco every day. So let's head to the train station, buy a ticket, and let's get this Monaco Grand Prix weekend started. We'll be ticking off 8 F1 essentials throughout our weekend, all of which can be done without any ticket, with the best ones coming on race day. But be warned, for some of them, you might have to break some rules.
That's what I mean, they don't want you looking.
We are now heading to the train station where we are going to head into Monaco for the first time this weekend. I have a love-hate relationship with this train.
On a good day, it's good. On a bad day, it is maybe one of the busiest trains I've ever seen.
No.
The train itself is pretty affordable. It costs €8 and the journey only takes 20 minutes, so it's really easy to get to Monaco. But the catch is that these trains get extremely busy, especially on the Sunday. So you do have to be prepared to be squashed on your train ride over.
From our experience last year, we know that the queues to get tickets inside the train station can also be enormous. So if you can buy your tickets online through like an app like TrainPal or Trainline, then that is a top tip. But let's get inside and let's get to Monaco. Here she is. I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but we are now in Monaco and everything is getting set up around us ahead of the race weekend. Monaco is the second smallest country in the entire world, and it is the richest country in the entire world. Over 35% of the population of Monaco is considered a millionaire. An average apartment in Monaco costs around 6 million euros. From a Formula One and motorsport perspective, Monaco is considered to be the jewel in the crown. Every driver wants to win their home race and they want to win Monaco. It is such a tight and winding circuit that is very intense for the drivers. But because the cars in Formula One have got so much wider and the track hasn't actually changed in Monaco since its inception in 1929, it's very hard to overtake here. But this year is a little bit different because they have to do 2 pit stops, so strategy is going to play a huge role. And where does strategy happen? It happens in the pit lane. So maybe that's where we should go now.
Is it actually this? Are we allowed in here? Crazy.
I'm just a humble member of the public and I am currently stood in the Monaco pit lane. I think this is unlike any other race where on the Wednesday before the race weekend starts, you can just wander up and down the pit lane freely because this is basically just part of Monaco. This is just a public area.
Anybody can come here and walk this, and just to put it into perspective, at most of the races you have to pay a significant amount of money or have a very expensive ticket to even get this close to the pit lane.
So this is the McLaren garage right at the top of the pit lane because they won the Constructors last year. And to be honest, it looks like they're going to win the Constructors again this year. And we're still quite early in the season, but a lot still to play for. We're unlikely to see any drivers because I don't think they're here yet. And if they are, they're probably having a couple of days off. But you are seeing all of the mechanics and the people behind the scenes that set up the F1 garages. And right here, you can literally touch a McLaren tyre.
This is how close you can get. I've actually never touched a tyre before. Feels like I shouldn't be doing this, but I can't stop. I've probably just touched Lando's tyre. With my own finger, I'm not going to wash it.
This behind me is the Red Bull garage, and they've actually got pieces of the car just lying out so you can have a little look at them. Adrian Newey Aerodynamics, the last year of Adrian Newey at Red Bull. So all of the cars and the stuff to set up the pits gets transported from race to race in these massive trucks. And in terms of who has the best truck, there is a clear winner. It must be quite demoralizing if you're a truck driver for any other team other than Aston Martin. It's double-decker, it's probably 3 times the size of the average apartment here in Monaco, but that is so impressive from Aston Martin. It's just a shame about the Aston Martin uniform.
Oh, no, darling.
Behind me is Fernando Alonso's garage. He has actually won this race twice, I think, but he's also the only current driver in F1 that has the potential to win the holy trinity of motorsport, which is the Le Mans, the IndyCar 500, and the Monaco Grand Prix. He's done 2 of them, he only has 1 left to do, and I'd like to see it happen.
Monaco is like walking around a movie set. So obviously we've got the pit lane on one side of us, but on this side we've got the Monaco harbour, which looks like it's straight up out of a film, and in front of it is this swimming pool, which I have seen on so many photos and I'm now seeing it with my own eyes. Monaco is a movie set.
The next stop on our F1 weekend is actually not technically free, but it is extremely affordable and definitely worth doing whilst you're here in Monaco. It's going to see the Prince of Monaco's private car collection inside a museum. It's always hard to film in museums because they're very quiet, but we'll let the cars do the talking.
I don't really know what's going on, but I think that he's about to drive this McLaren out of the museum.
That guy has nerves of steel. He just threaded the needle. One side he had another McLaren and one side he had a brick wall. That's not even his car. I wouldn't want to do that. When I see collections like this, I just think to myself, I barely have one car, let alone enough cars to fill a whole museum. Like, at what point do you start collecting cars recreationally? But this is a great time for you to subscribe so that I can buy myself a Ferrari car collection.
We are out of the car museum now, and we learned something quite crazy whilst we were in there. The Prince is a regular visitor of his own car collection, and there's a special garage downstairs, and he'll quite often just ring up and say, hey, I want to take this car out today, and the team will move that car into the garage for him to collect, and then he'll just drive around Monaco in it.
But if this didn't make me jealous enough, step 3 of our ultimate F1 weekender was taking a look at all of the Monaco F1 tickets that we could have paid for. What we're walking past now is the first row of yachts for the Monaco Grand Prix. The amount of money and connections you have to get a yacht in this position on this weekend is insane. And I'm so close I could just jump on one. I'm not going to, because I feel like that may result in an extradition out of Monaco, and that is not what I want. We're still early in the weekend.
There's not many other races that have yachts like this so close to the racetrack. The yachts are here, and just here is where Max Verstappen will be chasing Oscar Piastri.
So the Monaco Grand Prix actually has the second most expensive tickets on average for any Grand Prix race. The only race that is more expensive is Las Vegas.
The yachts are one of the most expensive places to watch the race from. Right behind us is the front row, but after that there's another row, and they'll still be paying thousands and thousands to watch from those yachts, even though they're not even on the front row.
Aside from the yachts, you can also watch the Monaco Grand Prix from people's balconies. It's a street circuit, so loads of people have apartments that actually overlook the track, and they rent out their apartments to corporate hospitality companies, and you can buy tickets to people's apartments. So the average ticket prices here cost about $770, which is around 680 euros. The cheapest ticket available is for Thursday practice, and it's 40 euros, which is a bargain. But you don't get to see any F1 cars on the track, it's only F2 cars. So if you want to see an F1 car on the Monaco circuit, you will have to pay 195 euros for that ticket. But in comparison to races like Silverstone and Miami, that is actually very reasonable.
So one of the best parts about Monaco is that the actual racetrack is open a few days ahead of the race, so you're free to walk around it wherever you like. And behind us is probably one of the most iconic parts of the Monaco circuit. So we're about to walk through it. It is the tunnel, and it's already got the lights up ready for Sunday.
This guy's got better turning than Colapinto. This is Rascasse Corner, the most famous corner on the whole circuit in my opinion. And just behind it, you've got the Fairmont Hotel. So these hotel rooms have the most insane view of that corner. Even months out, you can't book those rooms online. They're reserved, and you actually have to ring the hotel to inquire about the price. So you know they're gonna cost a small fortune. Which is why I was surprised when I saw this hanging from one of the balconies. It's quite comforting to know that regardless of how much money you have, you still have to wash your socks and underwear in the sink and hang them out to dry on your balcony.
Just walking around, you can see how creative they've had to get with where they put the stands, because Monaco is all higgledy-piggledy, so there's just seats randomly sat on the top of hotels or scaffolding that's just been thrown up with a few seats on.
Also, this probably seems quite obvious, but walking around Monaco, you spot some of the most insane supercars. And not just supercars, just really interesting cars generally. So that's another activity, walking around and seeing what you can spot. And I've already spotted some crackers.
There is a little bit of criticism about the Monaco Grand Prix. A lot of people say it is a boring race. Why would you go to Monaco to watch the F1? First of all, I think that's probably said by people that have never been to Monaco for the F1. But secondly, this entire country has an obsession with cars. The car park outside the casino gives special entry to supercars. It just feels like Monaco is a place that loves car culture. It makes sense for the Formula One to be here.
Jade was right. The Monaco race itself can be boring, but attending the Monaco Grand Prix is anything but boring.
I was not expecting this.
But after taking in a track walk, supercar hunting, and checking out all of the tickets that we couldn't afford, race day was fast approaching, and it was time to take a look at some places where we could watch the race from without having a ticket.
Welcome to the fan zone. We've made it to the Monaco fan zone, and this is basically a square in the middle of Monaco that is completely free for anyone to attend. It just seemed a little bit smaller than some of the other fan zones that we have been to, but there is a lot packed in here. We've got the race simulators, we've got lots of different merch stores. Over here we have got the Red Bull Pit Stop Challenge, and then we've also got the Reaction Challenge as well in the corner. So there's quite a lot of activities to do. What did I get?
26.
Yes! That is good! Over here we have got a huge screen, and technically you could come and watch the race from the fan zone. So you wouldn't see any cars actually on the track, but I'm confident it would be an amazing atmosphere in here. And it's not just the race that they're showing, so throughout the whole weekend there will be different drivers. I think Yuki Tsunoda is coming in here later, Max Verstappen, Christine Horner comes and does a talk. All the different teams will be popping in here throughout the weekend, so it's pretty cool.
But of course, we didn't come all the way to Monaco to watch cars on a screen. A key part of our weekend is seeing the F1 cars on track for free. So what that means is that we need to find places around the city where you can actually get advantage of the track without having a ticket.
We are on our way to stop number 1, which is Rue Princesse Caroline. So this is Rue Princesse Caroline. I mean, you would get a view of a car on the track, but it'd be quite a slim chance.
To be honest, this is not a good place if you want to get some F1 action, I don't think. Let's try the next place. Okay, stop number 2 is Route de la Mesure. There are a lot of police knocking around, and I imagine that presence is only going to get more enhanced over the weekend. Apparently there's almost no crime in Monaco because there is more police per capita than anywhere else in the world, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong, but when we're trying to sneak into places we're not supposed to be, it's a bad thing.
It is very hilly, but already this is looking promising.
But as we get to the point where you probably would be able to see the track, there's these big metal barriers which stop you seeing it. This is something straight out of the Las Vegas playbook. So it looks like that free viewing spot is also ruled out. It's looking like slim pickings.
I'm hoping that this last spot might be the place.
So this is the best spot that we've found so far, and it's actually the most obvious and popular one, right by the train station.
You can see all of the fancy yachts, but there's also quite a big stretch of track that you can see from here. The only question is, how busy is it going to be on race weekend? I was feeling quite hopeful before we set off, but now just seeing the actual spots and how limited the view is, I'm feeling a bit nervous.
Maybe we've been too ambitious. Maybe we should have got a ticket after all. But as race day was now only just around the corner, we had one final place we needed to check out.
Oh, just had a big hike up to the Monaco viewpoint. We actually got a taxi here. If you think that Monaco is a movie set when you're down in Monaco, wait until you see it from up here because it is something else. And the best thing is, it's completely free. So in theory, we could watch the race from here, but the only catch, and you'll see what the catch is in a minute, is that we're very, very high up. So you can hear the cars and you can see the marina and all the crazy yachts, but you won't be that close to the action.
From here, you get a great perspective on how small Monaco is, how many yachts are parked here over the race weekend, and then you've obviously got the Prince Albert's royal palace. He's got a great view of the ocean from his bedroom. If you had a pair of binoculars and a radio, this would be such a chilling spot to watch the Monaco Formula One. With all our viewing options scouted and a few tricks still left up our sleeve, it was time for race day without a ticket. Good morning. It is now race day here in Monaco. How excited on a scale of 1 to 10 are you?
I feel nervous because I don't know what today is going to look like. Anything could happen.
And things got off to a strange start. I'm not quite sure how this has happened, but we're on an empty train to Monaco.
No, there actually is nobody. We have this whole floor to ourselves. This might be like a positive omen for what lies ahead.
A Lando win.
We've only just got off the train and there is a constant stream of F1 fans milling up and down these streets. The Monaco Formula One racetrack only has room for 36,000 people to sit in the stands, which makes it technically the lowest attended race on the calendar. However, over 300,000 people come to Monaco for the race. So that means only about 10% of people actually have tickets. So we are in the majority of people today. 300,000 people is also about 5 times the population of this country.
It might not look like much right now, but in a few hours' time, this street turns into a street party. And we know a Monaco secret. The Prince stops here at Slammers on his way back from the race for a pint. So if you want to have a pint with the Prince of Monaco after the race, this is where you need to come.
With our date with Man Like Albert confirmed in the diary for later, we decided to go and see how much of a rip-off some of the food was on race day.
At the bottom of this street is the track, and the only thing separating us from the track in here is a metal fence that you can actually see through. This is very unique to Monaco because we are so close to the track here, but the full street remains open and there's shops on either side, but there's also loads and loads of cafes, restaurants, bars, just places to eat and drink. One option for watching the race that I had not considered before we got here is reserving a table for lunch at one of the restaurants on this street. So they've all got screens. So if you're not bothered about physically seeing a car on the track, that could be a good option. Ryan has managed to bag us a table in a restaurant that is on the main fan street. So we've ordered a couple of drinks and we're going to get some food and see how much it costs.
So this pint of beer has just cost me 11 euros.
My Prosecco cost €12 and it came in a really big glass. I'm not sure if you can hear this, but it is F2 now and it is so loud when they go past. So even just watching it on the screens and being able to hear it is good.
The salad was 20 euros and the pizza was 22 euros. So again, it is not particularly reasonable. I wouldn't class this as a cheap eat. As well as pricey food, there's another thing you need to watch out for at F1 races.
One thing that will never not shock me about the Formula One is how much the merch costs. The hat that I want is 120 euros. You could probably get a ticket to a race somewhere for that price.
But at this moment, we were hit with some devastating news.
One of the free viewing points that we had scouted has actually now been cornered off by the police. So they're not letting anyone watch from the free viewing point. It's got tape all across it. So that's ruled that one out. So we've decided that our best bet might just be to go to the fan zone. And I reckon it's going to be a really good atmosphere in there.
What's your name?
Fabio.
And where have you come from?
I'm from Italy.
Peterborough, England.
So we travelled from Zurich.
Who's your favourite driver?
I'm going for Max.
Leclerc.
Antonelli. She loves Charles.
Monaco is a special place, right?
Definitely.
Why is it so special?
People are lovely, atmosphere is buzzing.
Monaco is always amazing. Just the atmosphere.
And I was here last year too, so Leclerc won. It was amazing.
Do you need a ticket to come to the Monaco Grand Prix?
Definitely not. Just come for the buzz and the beer.
And the beer. We are inside the fan zone and it is a lot more busier than it was when we were in here the other day. The huge screen is on and they've got cornered off sections so you can stand or sit. Some people have brought their own camping chairs. But it's a great atmosphere in here.
Also, what if I told you you could get a coffee in the fan zone for €1? Would you believe me? You might not see it anywhere else in the world, but in the richest country in the world, that is what is available.
We've got about 3 minutes until it all starts. We're at the back of the fan zone. Can't see a thing, but the atmosphere is good.
Come on, Lando.
This place is packed. How are you feeling about our spot here?
I mean, it's quite crammed, but it's good. But you know, the atmosphere is brilliant. It's crazy. Just even to be here is cool.
Having watched the beginning of the race from the fan zone, our thoughts turn to another important part of our day.
The fan zone is packed. Every inch of space is filled. So we're going to go and head now and check out one of the free viewing spots to see if we can get a glimpse of cars on the track. But this place is great. This is a really good spot to come and watch from. We're leaving the fan zone now, and as we're coming out, there's a huge queue to get in. So if you do want to watch from there, definitely get there before the race starts.
But we had a problem. All of the ones that we looked at earlier in the week were either no good or they've been blocked off by the police. In a place like Monaco, it is impossible to cover off every single vantage point of the racetrack.
Walking up about 500 stairs, and we've seen what looks to be a positive sign. Loads of locals stood up on a fence, and it's actually a pretty decent view. You can see the grandstand. The grandstand is completely full. You can see all the boats, and they've just set up camp here with pizzas and drinks, and they're listening to the commentary on their phone. It's such a good way to do it.
The craziest part about that viewpoint was the fact that as you peered over the fence, there was someone's balcony who had the most insane view of the racetrack, and there was just no one sat on it. But we have officially seen Formula One cars on the track racing for free.
Don't let anyone ever tell you that Formula One is only for rich people.
Feeling very accomplished, we had no time to dwell as we had a date with the Prince of Monaco. Behind me, the famous Slammers street party has already started. This is like a Monaco essential. You can't come to Monaco Grand Prix and not come to Slammers. The Prince drinks here, Valtteri Bottas drinks here, and now we drink here. I've got myself a €10 pint of beer. Monaco très bon?
Très magnifique.
Magnifique.
Everyone's waiting for the Prince. There's so many police here. Okay, it's about to happen.
Please give a warm welcome to Princess Charlie! Okay, please welcome Prince Albert!
A double royal visit. Princess and the Prince.
The Monaco street parties are well underway, but we are leaving them behind because we have something else to attend to.
The track has officially opened, and we are about to walk it ourselves.
This is what I've been excited about all day. We are now on the track, and I'm about to get run over by the one and only Ferrari truck. If I was going to be run over at all this weekend, that is the vehicle I'd like to get run over by. Maybe this is the perfect time for us to get out our sign and see if it works this year. Even though we managed to get within touching distance of the yacht parties whilst walking along the track, our sign failed us for the second year in a row. But the streets of Monaco after the race turned into a carnival.
I was not expecting this.
With DJs, pop-up bars and live music into the early hours. So you really don't need to get on a yacht to have a good time. So there you have it, that is the Monaco Grand Prix on a budget. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.
And let us know which race we should go to next.